For the single arm banded lat pull down, we're going to go through a couple of reps here, and then we're going to break it down in detail exactly what to do, what not to do, and tips for setup. All right, now that you've seen a couple of reps, let's dive in to the details.
For the single arm lat pull down, we have a couple of options as far as setup goes. We are going to want to have our door attachment, or if you have one of the long ones that has multiple anchor points, we'll use that on the door frame. From here, you can either use the long bands with the carabiner clamps that you can attach to, and you can just slip that through the hole here and you'll pull it down. And then when this is on door, you'll have two little clamps here that you can use, or you can attach both of them to your D handle, which will be the attachment that we'll use here. Otherwise, if you have the long loop resistance bands, you can also thread this through that same hole. Again, taking that one out. You can definitely thread this through, and essentially this would go on the door. You can either pull down on both of these handles as one, or what you can do is you can loop or thread one through the other so that it essentially just loops itself onto that, and then you can just pull down on this. If you need more resistance, you can always clip in two bands together. So you can essentially just loop a second band and then attach those same carabiners here, and you're going to be getting this band's resistance and the original band's resistance. So my first one was a 30, this one's a 50. So when I clamp them all together here, we're going to be working with 80 pounds of resistance. So lots of different options as far as that setup goes. In order to set this up over the door frame, you want to have the ball side on the opposite side of your door frame. Just make sure that it's hanging over and through, then shut your door, and then this will hold steady. So from here, we want to make sure that these bands are about even. Now, you can do this one of two ways. You can either just kind of hold the non-working side in place while the working side works, or what you can do is you can actually clamp the carabiners together so that essentially you'd only need one D handle. I'm just going to leave that one on because I'm going to be lazy, and then you have both band or the full band resistance working against you. So for this movement, I'm going to show you a couple reps here. You can do this from a kneeling position, which I find most comfortable. This way you have some stability here from this leg. And then what you're going to do is you're going to drive down towards your pocket. Think about bringing the elbow down to the hip. We want to do this in a way where our elbow stays tucked close to the body. We don't want our arm flaring out for this movement. That's going to involve a lot of rear delts. We want to really isolate this to the lat. So we're going to keep that nice and tucked here. Now, when we're pulling down, we want to make sure that we're not doing a swooping motion for this movement. What we want is we want this nice diagonal, this nice sharp diagonal. And at the bottom, your forearm will still be diagonal. We pretty much want our arm to be a direct straight extension from the elbow to the top of that band connection. Should be pretty much a straight line. We don't want to get to where we're like using our tricep to get this forearm parallel with the ground. We wouldn't want that. So essentially what we're looking for here is we're going to drive down and then release back up. You want to fully lengthen and let the band go fully back in. Now, if you get to the point where going and extending your arm all the way straight like this would leave a lot of slack in the bands, we either need to step further away or we need to reduce how long this band is. So you can just hold onto the bands like so, and then just drive down here. So extending out, drive down into the pocket, elbow to the pocket. And again, if you want, you can use the handles. If you can't, because of your space, this is fine as well. But driving down into the pocket. You can use the other foot if this feels more comfortable and you feel like you're not going to run into your leg. That's fine. Your back foot can either be kind of pressed into the ground or flat. This will give you a little bit more stability. Extending all the way up. Driving down, all the way up. We do want to make sure we're not twisting. We want to keep those shoulders squared up here. And again, fully lengthening while there's still some tension on the band. Driving that elbow down to the pocket.
Execution from the back is going to look something like this. Again, we want to make sure that we're keeping that elbow close to our body. We don't want to be flaring it out on this movement. Again, you can have either knee or leg forward and either one back. And then as far as your non-working arm goes, you can definitely put that on your knee. You can put it on your hip. Doesn't really matter. I find that putting it on my knee gives me a little bit more stability, so I like that. Other than that, only other thing to look out for is we don't want to have too much of a forward lean. We essentially are looking to avoid hip hinging here, so just work to stay fairly upright. Other than that, go out and crush it.